as we are tracking this line of storms that is now moving into northwest Georgia. You'll notice here the yellow polygons that are on this in parts of northeast Alabama. That's where we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect in northeast Alabama. The next place that this has to go is into Dade County, Walker County, and also into Catoosa County. As of right now, our National Weather Service office here in Peachtree City is issuing what they call a special weather statement. It's not really a severe thunderstorm warning, but they're saying we're keeping an eye on these storms as they move in, showing winds of about 40 miles an hour. Now, what makes this interesting is, and I want to kind of show you here what we're watching as we're keeping an eye on these storms that are moving into our area, and we'll zoom in tighter to these in moving into northwest Georgia. We just had a tornado warning in northeast Alabama in this area right here between Scottsboro and Hennegar, where there was some potential rotation there in northeast Alabama. All along, if you were watching me tonight at 9 o'clock, I was telling you about these storms moving through Alabama. There was a tornado watch in effect for Alabama, but that was canceled before 10 o'clock, really about 10 or 15 minutes before 10 o'clock, which was its expiration time. And right after that watch was canceled, they issued the tornado warning in northeast Georgia as they detected just a little bit of rotation here in some of the notches within those storms. That tornado warning in northeast Alabama expired at 10:15, and as of right now, they have not issued any additional warnings with it. Again, there is a severe thunderstorm warning with that in northeast Alabama, but as this moves into northwest Georgia, our National Weather Service office is issuing a special weather statement showing that it is possible that these storms could have 40-mile-an-hour winds in association with them. So we're going to keep watching this as it moves in. I don't think that they will issue any severe thunderstorm warnings, but also our National Weather Service office here in Peachtree City is also keeping a close eye on these storms just because of the history of little bits of rotation there within this line in some of these notches here that had some rotation. Now, we never had confirmation of a tornado actually touching down there in northeast Alabama, but it was radar indicated rotation that was, tight enough for them to issue that tornado warning earlier in northern Alabama, but again, that expired at 10:15. So this line now moving into Dade County, pushing into Walker County, getting closer to Chattooga County here in the Summerville area. So that's why I wanted to jump on, just to let you know, in case you're looking at your own radar on your phone or on the 11 Alive weather app and you saw that warning over into Alabama, I'm sure that got your attention, wondering if that's going to move into northwest Georgia. But all along, we've been saying this line is weakening, and that is what we're seeing right now. The trends are that this line is weakening, and that's why our National Weather Service office didn't issue a severe thunderstorm warning here in Dade and Walker, even though there's one right across the line into Georgia, because we're seeing that weakening trend. Now, even though it's weakening, that doesn't mean that it is weak, because we still have some winds around 40, possibly up to 50 miles an hour. That is just below status of what we would classify as a severe thunderstorm warning. You would have to have winds of 58 miles or greater for us to have a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me check here to make sure we're not getting any additional information here from our weather office. And I'm going to jump over to Huntsville as well to see if they are saying anything else. They have a new severe thunderstorm warning for that part of northeast Alabama. So this is DeKalb County, Alabama, not DeKalb County, Georgia, but here in DeKalb County, Alabama. And they're saying here within this severe thunderstorm warning that it's called possible or tornado possible with this area that is moving through, but we don't have any major indications there of a tornado that is moving through. Let me flip this over to velocity mode and come in tighter here. And I don't see anything standing out within that along that line. Okay, so this is what we kind of keep an eye on right here within that line, where if we have, so what we've been watching, sometimes these individual notches here within that, what looks like a line of storms moving in, where we could see some rotation there with that. So nothing really stands out as a classic hook echo or anything out of that, but it's something that we have to watch. Even if there was a brief spin up, that could cause some damage. So we're just kind of having to watch these notches to see if anything tightens up quickly. That could be a brief spin up there in northeast Alabama, and whether or not that would extend into North Georgia. But again, right now, we're not overly concerned about that happening, but it is just something that we have to watch here very closely. Let me widen out a little bit more just so you can get a good perspective of what we're watching here in Atlanta. Nothing is going on here right now, but we have these storms in northeast Alabama just now crossing over into northwest Georgia. Now, if for some reason there was some rotation in Dade and Walker County in northwest Georgia, we still wouldn't break into programming on 11 Alive, because those counties in far northwest Georgia actually belong to the Chattanooga viewing area. So Chattanooga would be breaking in to warn those people there. Of course, I would stay on with you on streaming for that. But as of right now, if Chattooga County, here just north of Rome, if they happen to be included in a tornado warning, then we would go on the air for that. So just kind of the background information of why I'm on with you streaming right now. Number one, just to give you this information and to ease your fears. If you're seeing these severe storms coming out of Alabama moving into northwest Georgia, I just wanted to let you know here what we're watching and what the possibilities are here too. And also the realities. The reality is the line's weakening. It's not as strong as it was earlier, but still within that line, we have to watch any of those notches there within that where we could get some rotation developing. We do have a new update here from the National Weather Service office. Let me see what this is. A new special weather statement for Whitfield, so Catoosa, West Central Whitfield, Walker County, Central Dade, and northwestern Chattooga County. A line of strong storms along a line extending from near Lookout Mountain to Hammondville. They're moving to the east at 45 miles an hour, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind and heavy rain. And they're not saying anything with this warning about TOR possible like the folks in Huntsville were saying about these storms. So our National Weather Service office here in Peachtree City is just issuing a special weather statement, 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. They are not using the words tornado possible, even though the Huntsville office did with these storms coming out of Alabama. So our atmosphere is more stable than what we're dealing with in Alabama. And that's why, number one, that we're expecting the storms to weaken. And that's also why we are seeing trends of weakening within these storms pushing into northwest Georgia right now. They also extend down 59 toward the Birmingham area. We're not seeing anything severe with that. We have seen some flashes of lightning and rumbles of thunder back into Alabama. So I want you to be prepared for that as this moves into northwest and west Georgia. There will be some pockets of moderate to heavy rain. I mentioned the winds that could be 40 to 50 miles an hour, especially with this in Dade, Walker, Catoosa County, also moving into parts of actually Chattooga County, also into Catoosa County, moving into Whitfield County. I want you guys there to be prepared for those stronger winds. But south of that, down 59, these storms aren't as strong. That's what will be moving in toward Floyd County, also into Polk County and Haralson County, possibly within the next hour or so as that entire line continues to move on through. So let me put this into motion here so you can kind of see what we're watching. I just want to make sure that this is not giving me any more information here from the National Weather Service. So all of this is going to keep pushing closer to us here. All right, let me get this into play mode and we'll kind of see here what we're watching with these storms pushing out of our area. All right, so there is that line moving to the north and west, and that will keep moving our way. Here in Atlanta, we don't have anything happening here right now. We just have a good coverage of clouds around here for the metro Atlanta area, but no rain or anything with that yet. We're thinking that our better chance for rain here in the metro area would be most likely between midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning as that line continues to move in. And that's really what we're just expecting, though, is rain, the potential for some moderate to heavy rain mixing in with that, and maybe some rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning. But we still think that that weakening trend is going to continue as this entire system moves through. Now, if you look back south of Birmingham, we've got a lot of thunder and lightning with those storms, but again, nothing severe with that as it moves over to the east. But that's just showing you what is pushing into our area. And the instability over in those areas, excuse me, are a lot more, the instability is a lot more impressive there with those storms pushing in, but no real concerns about an overall big-time severe weather threat. Speaking of that, the National Weather Service has this level 1 of 5 risk that's in effect there, a marginal risk for some of those stronger storms. And you'll notice that it does barely include Dade and Walker County. So actually those storms are about to move out of that severe risk area as it moves in. And so far they have not issued any other risks for us here in North Georgia, since our atmosphere and our air is more stable, and since we are seeing those weakening trends out there right now. So let me show you what we're watching here with the timeline. This is our high resolution rapid refresh model, where you can see what we're watching here with that line coming into Northwest Georgia. Let me get my clicker here. I left it over on the other desk, but there's that line that's moving through right now. It is a little bit thinner than it was earlier in Alabama. And as I put this into motion, I want you to see here how that continues kind of thinning out a little bit too. So this is at midnight, where we expect that line to be moving through Fannin and Gilmer County there in North Georgia, pushing through Cherokee County, Bartow County, moving closer to northwestern Cobb County, and then pushing down toward Carrollton there in Polk County, Haralson County, and into Carroll County. So that's at midnight. So then that line, watch as it goes from here all the way over here, right there at 3 o'clock in the morning. So between midnight and 2-ish, is when it's going to be moving through the Atlanta area. And also notice how it all keeps falling apart as it keeps moving over to the east. So the threat for anything strong will keep lowering as the system weakens, moving over toward the east. And so by 3 o'clock in the morning, everything is pretty much to the east of us. And the rain not only moves out, but we're going to see those clouds breaking up. And tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up to more sunshine with those clouds that'll be with us too. And the wind, excuse me, the wind whipping up a little bit behind that front as it's going to start bringing in some colder air. We may see these temperatures holding. We may have our high temperature of the day tomorrow after midnight, and then temperatures falling after 3, 4 in the morning for a bit. Through the early morning before they start slowly rising during the day, getting back to the lower 50s here in those afternoon hours. So that's just kind of the progression of this line that keeps moving in. I want to take you back to radar right now so you can see here these storms as they are pushing into North Georgia and northwest Georgia. They have kind of slimmed down this warning there in northeast Alabama, still including that area along I-59, north of Gadsden into that area, just moving up toward, goes through Fort Payne, up toward Dade and Walker County, there in northwest Georgia, seeing some of that heavier rain, but they're not included in a warning. But once you get over into Alabama, this is a warning along I-59 going through Fort Payne, down toward the Albertville area and just north of Center, north and east of Center, where we see that heaviest rain that is moving through. Let me go back to velocity just to see. Now, again, when you see that warning for DeKalb County, that's DeKalb County, Alabama, not DeKalb County, Georgia. I'm just analyzing this here live as we're watching it right there. Again, I don't see any type of notches that look necessarily concerning with that right now, but just something that we have to keep an eye on as those storms continue moving into northwest Georgia. I will show you here a tower cam. I believe this is the Floyd County Rome. Yeah, this is the Rome tower cam right here. I moved the camera down a little bit to get a look at the streets here that are wet, but you can see the flags blowing. That is all ahead of that rain that is going to be pushing into Floyd County and into Rome within an hour or so is when we think that it'll be pushing into the Rome area. So nothing really major is going on in those areas right now in northwest Georgia. Really, Dade and Walker County are the areas that have the best coverage of rain and the heaviest rain that is moving through right now. Let me look at this warning here. I want to see when this is going to expire. And again, you're going to see DeKalb County there. This is not DeKalb County, Georgia. It is DeKalb County, Alabama. So this severe thunderstorm warning is going to expire. It says 10 o'clock Central Time, so that's 11 o'clock our time for Alabama. So it'll be interesting to see. And so far, our National Weather Service office is not seeing the indications of a severe thunderstorm up there in northwest Georgia, so they are not issuing a new warning or anything for Dade, Walker, or Chattooga. This is what we'll be watching for, Dade, Walker, and Chattooga, if these hold together where they could issue a new possibly severe thunderstorm warning with that. But as of right now, they're holding on to what they call a special weather statement, which is a storm that is exhibiting winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour, those pockets of heavy rain with it as well. And I'm not even really detecting any lightning within this part. We do have lightning right there, one lightning strike. That is to the east of I-59, east of Gadsden, still west of the Georgia line. So folks over in Floyd County, as this gets closer into Floyd, also Polk County, and in toward Haralson County, there could be a little bit of lightning with that, and there could be some thunder. Now there's a little bit more lightning in Dade, moving up toward Chattanooga, a couple of lightning strikes there, as well as really not seeing any other lightning up in Tennessee. And then we have all this lightning south of Birmingham, between Birmingham and Montgomery, some lightning down in those areas. So all of this is going to be pushing a little bit closer to us. When you see me moving this and the radar changes a little bit, that's when it jumps from, so this, you see the center of the circulation of the radar sweep, that's the Peachtree City radar. When I go over here, it switches over to the Huntsville radar right there. And with this being closer to Huntsville, it's giving us better signals of reflectivity there. That's why maybe you saw the red intensify a little bit. This is closer to the radar site. We're getting a better look at that, whereas from Peachtree City, it's farther away, and a lot of that radar beam could be, you know, shooting over that with the angle there of the degrees of what we have with that radar beam. So that's why you saw that intensity look a little bit different when I was kind of shifting around there, because we were shifting to this radar there in North Alabama. So that is what we're watching right now. What we're going to do here, guys in the control room, I'll go till about 10:40, just so that we can have a chance to come down and get everything kind of reset for our 11 o'clock newscast. But I just wanted to go on with you for, it's going to be about 20 minutes, just to explain what we're watching with these showers and storms that are moving into our area. There you saw it just shift back to Peachtree City. So the overall concern is not that high right now. I just want you to know we're watching these showers and storms that'll be rolling through, pushing through the metro Atlanta area, most likely between midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning. They will be weaker over us than they have been back into Alabama. The tornado watch that was in effect for parts of northern Alabama was canceled before it was supposed to expire at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock Central Time, but we're still holding on to a severe thunderstorm warning in northeast Alabama. So far, that warning is not extending over the state line into northwest Georgia. Our National Weather Service office here in Peachtree City is issuing what we call a special weather statement. So far, what we're seeing with these storms is that they are below severe limits, with winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour. If it was 58 miles an hour or greater, then that would be enough to classify it as a severe thunderstorm warning. But they're not seeing that, any of those winds strong enough to make that meet the severe thunderstorm warning criteria. So no warnings here for northwest Georgia. I'm going to keep watching this as we kind of come down from the feed here, coming up in about 15 seconds. And then we will have our newscast and our next update coming up at 11 o'clock. Unless any new warnings are issued, then I'll break into streaming again here. So stay with us here. Thank you for watching this extended weather update as we're tracking these storms pushing into northwest Georgia. We'll have another update for you tonight on 11 Alive News at 11.